If you need to understand or explain the Scrum framework confidently, you can do that by watching the Scrum Foundation video series. These videos are completely free, and in less than an hour, you'll understand the different roles, what to do in meetings, and understand critical aspects of Scrum, like the product backlog. I know you're eager to get started, so click the link now and I'll send access to your inbox, and you can watch all the Scrum Foundation's videos whenever you want. Want to watch a quick lesson now? Keep watching this video to watch the 5 values of Scrum. It's a great place to start. I've trained over 30,000 people how to use Scrum successfully, and the Scrum Foundation's video series is the first thing I give people to watch. There's no fluff, just concrete, easy to understand explanations. Each video is around 2 to 3 minutes, so it's really easy to watch, and in less than an hour, you'll be able to start applying the Scrum framework to your own projects. Ready for a lesson now? Here you go. One way I can tell if a Scrum team is really a Scrum team is if they live up to the 5 values of Scrum. The Scrum framework is easy to learn, but living by the values day in and day out often requires changing a lot of ways that we've always worked. During this lesson, we'll go over the 5 values of Scrum, and I'll give you some practical tips for implementing them in your organization. The 5 values of Scrum are focus, openness, respect, courage, and commitment. I always find using an acronym an easy way to remember things. The acronym FORCC can help you remember the 5 values of Scrum. Of course, you don't want to force your team into learning these values, but thinking about them as a powerful force in your Scrum practice may be a good way to keep them top of mind. May the force be with you. Let's begin with our first Scrum value, focus. It's important to stay focused on the product and the value you are trying to deliver. One way to do that is by eliminating or reducing competing priorities. If we have too many competing priorities, we start a lot of things, but never finish anything. And if we never finish anything, we don't deliver any value to our customers. One afternoon, my goal was to write the scripts for these videos. I set aside 4 hours of writing time from 1 to 5 p.m. My goal, after all, was to focus and produce something of value. At 1:03, I checked my email. I didn't want to delay my responses to customers, so I replied to 4 emails. That took until 1:13. Then I went back to writing my video script. At 1:20, my wife texted me about what we should have for dinner tonight. I spent 5 minutes thinking about it and another minute replying, "Let's go out for Mexican food." I spent the next 6 minutes on Google trying to find a good Mexican restaurant we hadn't been to before. In just the first hour, I spent 21 minutes on activities that had nothing to do with the goal I was working toward. The teams that get the greatest benefit from Scrum are the ones that can minimize distractions and maximize focus. Having a good Scrum Master on your team is vital in helping the team focus on its work and maximizing value. The second Scrum value is openness. Be open to new ideas and to the ideas of others. Don't just settle for how things have always been done. A truly agile team displays innovative thinking. A helpful tip for openness and encourage innovative thinking on your team is to use the phrase yes and when you are discussing a new idea. By changing your language from the typical yes but reply to yes and, you encourage team members to share new ideas and remove the fear that their ideas will be shut down. So next time you are working with your team, I want to encourage the Scrum value of openness. Teach them the yes and technique. The third value in Scrum is respect. A good Scrum team respects each other's ideas and opinions. Without respect, team members close down. They lose openness. And without openness, the team plays it safe and fails to innovate. Just like in a family, good Scrum teams disagree and argue. But when they disagree, they argue respectfully. Remember I mentioned looking for a new Mexican restaurant to try? What I didn't tell you earlier is that my wife and I have different criteria in choosing Mexican restaurants. I live for fajitas, so the food is my number one concern. For my wife, it's all about the guacamole. Well, and the tequila selection. So even though we disagree on what makes a great Mexican restaurant, we do so respectfully. As a member on a Scrum team, make sure you are respectful to your teammates, even if you disagree with them. The fourth value in Scrum is courage. Some of the most successful companies today got there by having the courage to look at things from a new perspective and by not being afraid of failure. Netflix reinvented the way we watch movies, first by mailing DVDs and then with streaming, while Blockbuster continued with its retail model. Amazon wasn't the first company to sell books online, but they saw it would be the future. Borders and Barnes & Noble were bigger when Amazon first started, but they didn't have the courage to jeopardize their brick and mortar models. Scrum teams need the courage to step out of the way they have always worked and to innovate. Scrum Masters and product owners need to foster courage. By allowing teams to fail and learn from their mistakes, we can give them the courage they need to improve. The fifth value in Scrum is commitment. The team makes commitments to each other. Everyone on the team is accountable for the commitments they've made. I'm going to emphasize the words each other here. In traditional project management, commitments were made to the project manager, the department manager, the business owner, or someone else of a higher rank. The commitments were individually made. Hey, Johnny, I need that TPS report done tomorrow. And Johnny would say, yes, boss, right on it. In Scrum, the team decides what they will work on, and then each person commits to the rest of the team that they will do what they've said. Now that you've learned the 5 values of Scrum, print our poster showing the values and hang it in your workspace. By not only knowing, but living the 5 values of Scrum, you're on your way to becoming an outstanding team. Now that you've learned the 5 values of Scrum, click the link to access the rest of this free course and learn how to discuss Scrum with your team with confidence.